Okay, I was just gonna have a go at doing a video on how to like make a house. I was gonna do my own out of like foam core. So I just wanted to show the process how I was gonna do it. First, what I did was went to the auditor's website, and they had like a sketch on there of the property, which had the sizes and everything. So I could just go straight off of that. First thing I'm gonna do is, this is 26 feet. I've got to pick my scale what I want it to be in. I went with a 1/24th scale, and if you find a scale converter like this one, just type in the real length and it'll tell you like the scale length there is 13 inches. So I'll go back there, draw out a line, hold shift while you do it so it draws straight, right click so it disconnects, and then up the top I'll go to the selection tool and select it. Up the top, go to make it 13 inches. So you know that's the scale for the 1/24. So now this 26 feet needs to be that wide to be in the correct scale. So I'm just going to grab this picture, scale it up until that fits within the walls there. Yeah, that looks pretty close there, so I'm going to leave that at that. You can, with this output, you can turn off output and it will still give you an outline, but it won't block everything. Sometimes it's hard to see. Alright, so we don't need that line anymore because you've got the scale now. All you've got to do really now is follow around. The only place, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make slots for it to stand up in. So what I'll do is draw a square here. I'm going to draw one here, because this other part is a canopy, so I'm just going to do it to here for a second. I'm going to connect these two together just by shift and click, so now they're both, and then down here take everything out of the centre, so now we've got that shape. This is a concrete slab, and this is actually in the wrong place, but I think I'll just stick with the actual house. So now you got this line. The foam, what I'm using, the foam core, is around 3mm thick, so what I'm going to do is put an offset. Oh, I've got to change that to millimeters first. I'm not sure what that is in inches, so in millimeters offset I'm going to change it to 3mm. It could be 4 actually, because that was already on there. I'll leave it at 4. I could always scale it down a little bit. So now we've got all this would be cut out. I don't quite want that. I've got to put where my doors are, and it's not actually on this map. I know roughly. There's I've got two 6-foot patio doors here, so this is going to be 3 inches in that scale. So I'll go back to inches. I'll make the width 3 inches, and really it just wants to be a bit wider. There may be an easier way of doing this, but this was the way that I've found. Now if you come to this node tool and click on these lines and just press T, it will cut it back to, so that's the opening for the 3-foot door. So now I could take this, flip it 90 degrees. I've got to close them ends off as well afterwards, and the other patio door is around here. So I'm just going to do the same again, node editing tool, T, click that one, T, delete that for a second, and now just with this pen tool I'm going to draw in these ends, just connect them again. Okay. The front door which is 36 inches. So this, you can just change this to inches. Change this to 36, and that will tell you that would be 1.5 inches. So just draw out another square, make it 1.5 inches, and where the front door's going, for me, is around about here. Just do the same thing, cut it out, and basically that's the idea. You know, just go around, cut out your doorways. You don't want the big chunks to like fall out, so really you want some kind of doorway or something so it don't just completely break off, because the windows are going to be cut within the wall, so these openings are only where doors are going to be. But I think that's all the doors on mine. I do actually, this building is connected here, but I'm going to leave that one out for now. Okay, so the next thing is like to know the height of the, you know, the height of the ceiling, because that's how tall your walls are going to be. For me, that's 8 feet. So let me just quickly put this back to feet, which would be 4 inches. So back to the light burn. So now I'm going to want, let me just go back. I'm going to start right, it should start the box from this corner. Okay, so that one should be 4 inches tall. Oh, but it's slotting into the bottom, so actually it's got to be a little bit extra. So in millimeters, if I add the thickness of that, which is 4 millimeters, so I'll say plus 4. So now it's added 4 more millimeters to that, which is 105. What is that in inches? 4.1575. But now, actually, now we've got one wall, you can just duplicate this really and flip it around. So that end's correct. Let's just make sure this end's pretty close. Okay, so that's that wall done. So now Control and D, that will duplicate it, flip it 90. Up the top there, just type in rotate 90. Now it lines up nice with this wall. We know this one comes right from that end to that end, so this one here has actually got to start from this side of the corner here, because that one's coming all the way through, and then it's going to come down to here, and then I'll make sure the one at the bottom comes right through, which I should be able to duplicate this. Hold shift, drag it straight down. Yeah, and that lines up in there. So now you can see that one is a little bit shorter than the others, because it's not going to, these are coming right to the corners, that one's not. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this one because it's the right rotation. Just line this up, and basically just, I'm going to skip through this a bit, but that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to go around and line all these up, and then I'll come back. Okay, one thing I forgot, around here where the doors and stuff are, you do want to go right over the top, really, so I shouldn't have done how I did there, so I'm going to just get rid of this one and just show you with the doors. This has still got to be dragged all the way through. I'm going to come right to this end, and then when you, where the doorway is, I know it's 6 foot tall, I know it's 6 foot wide, which was 3 inches, and I think it's about maybe 87 tall or something, I'm not sure. I'm going to roughly guess it. I mean, that looks about correct for the distance from the ceiling to me, which is, well, that's 6 foot. It's got to be a little bit taller. Maybe I'll go to there. But you could go measure it with the scale converter. And then with this one, yep, just make sure you dragged your box past. As long as you're only moving the bottom of this box, it's not going to affect the top of the box. So as long as that top is in the right place, just pull the bottom past, control and click so you've got them both. And take everything out of the outside. And now you can see it's left the opening for the doorway there. So I'm just going to move that out of the way a little bit because I've got to do the same here. Okay, that's all the doors cut out. Now it's just a matter of working out like the size of the windows and where they are. So yeah, just got to, you know, take your measurements and do it more roughly. I know my front window out there is about 8, so that'll be about 4 feet in, and it's about 3 feet tall, so 1.5, 1.5. Maybe it's a little bit taller than that. I'm going with that. Then bedroom. Just 2 smaller windows. I mean, to measure these up correctly, if you wanted to, if it was 3 feet off the ground, you could just make 1.5 inches square here. So just make it 1.5 by 1.5. And now, as long as that's lined up with the bottom, let's just move it out a little bit so you can see what's going on. So that would be my wall. This one would have to line up with the bottom of the wall. So that would give me that. This, I believe, is actually about 3 foot tall, so the height. I'm going to move it down to that because it's about 3 feet off the floor. Oh, I forgot, I've got to allow for that 4mm thickness, so drag this one across to where the other window is. Duplicate this one, drag that across. And then same thing, I'm just going to go around and put my windows in, so I'm going to skip through this. Okay, so that's all the walls done. So all I'm going to do is, oh, like that. I'm going to turn that off for 1 second so I can select these without no problems. I'm just going to group these walls together, so group this wall. And now it would be the interior walls next, but it would basically be the same thing. I haven't got a good plan, you know, where the stuff is. I've only got this plan what they had. So, I mean, I could roughly guess it, or, I mean, I know I've got a wall goes through the centre here. I'll make that 4mm wide as well, like the other one. Make sure they're lined up. Yeah, because these actually don't need to be slotted in, these could just be glued right in after. So what I'm going to do is make this 4 inches tall. So this one don't need the extra length because it's just going height 4 inches. Oh no, width 4 inches. So this would fit in between here and here, and in this I have a doorway. So I'm going to put that in where it would be. I know the door's just over 6 foot, so quickly see on a scale converter. I'll put it to inches. I think it might be about 82. So 3.41. 3.41. And then the width will be 1.5. That's actually a little bit further away, about there. So then, I think you have to click the wall first and then the door, and then say everything on the outside. And now you can see it's giving me that. So that's an interior wall. Maybe I'll put these up the top so they don't get confused. But yeah, same thing, you just go through and make your interior walls like that. So I'm going to skip through this and then I'll come back after I've got it done. Okay, I'm going to make this wall go right the way across and cut the doorway out of it roughly where it would be. So could actually just follow this doorway now because they're the same size. So you can just drag out a box right inside there and then flip it 90. Put it where it's going and then get the bottom line to line up. And once you do, just pull this past a bit, select the big shape first and the little one and everything on the outside. That's it, so that's the doorway there, which would be into the bedroom this side. And now all you want to do is really line this up where this wall's going to go, like mine goes right at the side of this door basically. Or actually a little bit further back because there is a staircase there. So I'm going to just go there. And really this would be, if you was measuring the room, now you'd be measuring from this line. So I'm going to just drag out a square there. So I've got another wall up the top there, which now this area is the kitchen. So this only wants to be 4 inches tall, same as the other walls. Match that up, make sure, yeah. However long it is, so I'm going to go 7.5. I think it's about 13 or 15 foot maybe that wall. And then I'm going to line this top line up with where that wall would be, which is around there. And then this wall that comes through this way, 4 inches, this time it's going to be wide. And then this one's got a doorway in it as well, so I'm going to draw another doorway out. Select it, move it up here. I probably should have picked the other one because it was already in the right rotation, but I'll rotate it 90, line the bottom lines up, drag it past a little bit, select the big shape, select the little shape, everything out the outside. Okay, so now that's that wall, and actually that's about it. From what I can think at the moment, I could always cut a couple little pieces afterwards. Another thing you can do is around these windows, if you want, you could draw a square, offset it outwards, just enough for a little frame. Select the resulting object. Yep, okay. Then I'll just select that as well. So now you've got little frames that will go around these windows. So it's just a matter of duplicating how many of them you want. So I've got 2 there for that. 2 more over there I see. So just check they fit. Yep. 1, 2. There's the frames. You could do the same with the doors and stuff as well if you wanted, but I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. These other pieces, which is the interior, I'm going to put up the top just to keep them separated from the exterior pieces. One last thing I did was I changed these just onto different colours, so I know this is the interior walls, like the green's the interior, red is the exterior, and then this is my original sheet. So yeah, I just wanted to show that just so they don't get mixed up. It'll be a bit easier to put it together at the end. Okay, one other quick thing I just wanted to add here. So I was thinking when I do cut this out of the original sheet, this whole part here is pretty much going to want to just fall out because there's nothing holding any of this, because I'm cutting all that out because I ain't got no doors around this side. So to get over that, what I'm going to do is line this up, the wall that's going along this longest side, and we're already deep enough to slot it in there, so I actually got to cut a little piece out of this and then cut a piece out of that as well. So it was 4mm I added before, so I'm just going to change that to millimeters, make it 4mm wide. I'm going to put it on the red layer just because that wall's on the red layer. I'm going to go to about the centre, which I believe that is. Yeah. Line this bottom line up. So now we've got 4mm from there. Pull this past, select the big one first, smaller one, and then say everything out of the centre. So now, right in the middle, we've got this little piece, so I can draw another square there where we just cut that out, drag this over. I'm going to make it a bit wider, just so, making sure not to change the length of it. And then on the node editing tool, click these black lines, press T, this one, T. So now we've got the right slot there, so I'm going to delete this square and then just close off these ends. So just on the pen tool, I'll put it on the same layer. That's that one, that's that one. So now this should slot either side of this, and then when I cut this out it's got a bit more support. Yeah, so I just wanted to show that. You could actually, I could do the same on the front and back wall really, but I think that'll be ample because I'll be gluing it, so yeah, just wanted to show that. Okay, now out to the laser. Okay, I'm outside now. I made a bit of a mistake indoors, but only because I had the wrong size material. I thought it was 4mm, but actually after looking in my book it needs to be 4.725, so I was just going to quickly show how I'm going to change that, even though this should have been done at the start, but whatever, mistake was made, so I've got to fix it. This is how I would do it. Draw a straight line from one of the edges like this, and then these lines, because the way we drew them out, are already broken up. You don't want to move the outside because these are the correct sizes, so that's going to start causing problems. So what I've suggested is selecting these lines like this and then just moving it down and moving these ones in and then cutting off the extras. Is definitely a bit of messing about that you shouldn't be doing, but so really what I'm going to have to do here is just press B on this corner to break it. So now I've just got this one edge, and then I'm just going to grab that and just move it down to the bottom of that line, and just make sure you hold shift as you do it so that it don't go off track. But really you don't want to be doing this. So I'm just going to get that done and then I'll switch it back on. But yeah, you just want to line it up kind of like that. You can see there's a little tiny gap there. And if you move this line, just make sure you move it by the centre. Okay, finally I got that done. But yeah, definitely check your material first. I thought for some reason it was 4mm, but anyway, I've done it now just to check that it was right. I put that front back on there. All I did was make sure I only mess around with the inside lines so that the outside was still the same. So, but yeah, it's still messing about, unnecessary, so definitely get that right. Okay, so starting from here, I'm going to cut this. According to my book, it says last time I used a 50 speed and a 20 power, and I guess that done it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 50 speed and a 25 power just to make sure that it goes through nice. So you can see if I right click, it's going to show me what's on this layer. I've got cut selected graphics on, so it's only going to cut what I've got selected. So I'm just selecting that. 50 speed. .25 power. Maximum and minimum. I'll leave air assist on because I'm cutting. It's on a line. Everything else is correct. I ain't messing nothing. Okay. I'm going to quickly just change all these so that I don't forget. Okay, sheets in there. I lowered the bed down. This was the stuff I was using. It's just called Ross foam board. You get it from Walmart for about 80 cents a sheet. First layout. So now I'm just going to drag the next lot, what will fit in there, and send that. So that'll be the next thing. That's most of the interior. Now I've just got to do the exterior and the roof. That's that last bit done. So now I'm going to take that in and see how it glues together. Right, first things first, make sure you got the ball around the right way. So this is the way, this would be my front door. So let me get the front door and the window.
I was supposed to have one roof go on the top this way, and then the other roof comes like this, at an angle this way, but it's just not quite long enough.
Okay, earlier when I done the roof, I made a mistake. For some reason, I put the roof over here and measured it like half here and half here, which was way too short. What I should have done was, if you go to this ruler tool and then go over where these roof sections are, you can see it's 8.5551. So that actually needs to be the correct length to overhang a little bit, but then the width of it needs to be, well, if you want it overhanging a little bit, you're going to have to just do a little bit extra. And what's there, maybe 8.7. I'll see how that looks. So I'm going to change this, because the length was correct, and you can tell the length by putting it over here. You can see I've just got a little bit of overhang either side. It's just the width. So the width is 8.5551. And then, yes, make it bigger. So that's the correct width at the moment. So if I say plus, up there in the top, if you put +4, in inches, it'll be better in millimetres really. I'm going to change this to millimetres and then just say +5. I'll say +5 millimetres. So that'll make it an extra 5 millimetres wide. And then I think to check it, if you did want to check it, so you can always press Control and Z and go back. You should be able to, it should, yeah, I think once that top's up there, that you can see it's got a bit of overhang. And now I believe that would be correct. And I've got to do the same with the other roof as well. So I'm going to go back, just so it's back square again. I'm going to duplicate that because the other side is the same. The only difference is on the other side, the little bit that it's overhanging there, I've got these walls which are going to be a bit in the way, so I'm going to have to make a little thing there like I did on this one. Let me see. Probably, let's put this one over there a minute, see. Yeah, so I'm just going to line that one up with that one and move it into how the other one was, because that seemed about right. So to do that, I'm going to have to convert it to a path, go to the node editing tool, and then insert a node right on the end, insert another one there, insert one on this end, and one here, and then just drag these two to the corners. Okay, and there it's finished. Pretty much. I mean, you could do, a lot more. I mean, just as a little model. The only thing that I did get wrong there was this pitch of the roof slightly. I'll have to work out with that. But just roughly. These could still do a bit better glue down. I don't want to stick all this down too much yet because
I've still got a little bit of fixing to do, but just roughly. I put it at the same angle as I've got from outside of the actual house.